It's time for the S&box news. The new S&box Devblog came out this week. There's new HD water changes, new clothing, and updates to the S&box dev website. If you like this content, click the like button and subscribe. It doesn't look like Construct has received any updates, but there are some new changes to the water. Well, actually, I think they were in last week, but they were either not working properly, or I just didn't see it. So the ripples in water will actually collide with other objects now. So this might be hard to demonstrate. If you look on the other side of Dream here, you'll notice the ripples from the bullet holes are not getting through for the most part. Instead, they're going around Dream. It's a very minor detail, but it makes the water a lot more realistic. There's a new Office Blazer piece of clothing. This article is interesting because it can go on top of shirts, but also underneath armor pieces. The new Devblog from February and March is here. Now, if you've been following these videos, there's not much new on here. I'll go through it and look through anything I've missed. We know about dedicated servers, map cleanup, ambient occlusion. There's faster texture compiling. I don't think I've mentioned this. Previously, it would take a couple seconds every time you tried to import a texture, but now it's basically instant. There's some street furniture. Now, I don't cover these on their own. I generally wait for them to be added to Construct, but here we can see a preview. I want to point this out. So, there's new decals that go underneath objects like metal poles and trees. And if you look closely, it just adds so much detail and it makes the environment look a lot more realistic. I'm not sure if I've mentioned this one, but there's new prefabs for Modeldoc. So this will make adding custom animation easier. So for example, if you wanted to add Fortnite dances to your S&box character, prefabs would make that a lot easier. Here we can see a nice preview of the controller gyro support. So we can see the character in this video is rotating the controller and the car in the video game is rotating along with the controller. That's crazy. The S&box dev website has been updated, so they've changed the URL and we can see it says S&works. Hello, this is where the S&box UGC lives. So this is a very early website. I believe it was just made the other day, so there's still going to be a lot of rough edges. Here we can see there's a list of what I assume to be the most popular S&box games right now. If I click on one, it'll take me to a blank page. This hasn't been implemented yet, so we can see to do, make this page have something on it. There's also a top charts here, and this will show the top games and maps from yesterday. So, as you would expect, S&box is the most popular. And then there's Doom, Team Fortress Source 2. On the left here, we can see a list of all the organizations that I'm a part of. Here's my main organization. And this is the list of my 27 creations. Now, a lot of this is old legacy content, which doesn't work anymore, so there's no download. I should go through and update some of the maps though. Tundra, the 80K Badlands, and the Engon Raceway could easily be updated. If I click on one of my creations, I can see the details page. This has been slightly updated. Obviously, it's still a very early work in progress. Here's the versions. Now, this is very useful. We can actually switch between different versions of our game. So if we find out there's a massive exploit or game-breaking bug with our current version, we can just switch to the previous version. The errors page is very useful. It looks like it shows me some very detailed errors, so I could easily be able to debug these if I wanted to. There are a couple new changes to DM98. I'm not going to show them off in detail because they're just minor changes, like changing the placeholder model on the crowbar. There's a new placeholder animation too. It looks like they took the fist view model and they installed a crowbar into this man's fist. It's very realistic and definitely a placeholder. Now, what you're looking at here is actually my new DM98 map. In the previous video, I said I would be making one, and here it is. It's still an early work in progress. As you can see, I only started to detail one room, and everything else is just a dev texture. So this is a recreation of the map Stalkyard from Half-Life Deathmatch. In last week's video, I actually said I was going to make the map Boot Camp, but I ended up changing my mind and making Stalkyard instead. So here we can see, this is what the original map looked like, and here's what my new updated version looks like. So it has a little bit more detail, it's slightly more realistic. Well, that's it, that's all the S&box news. Like, comment, subscribe, and thank you to my Patreon supporters.